Hi, I'm Dr. Kat Childers, Academic Technology Coordinator.
And I'm Christine Jesse, Classroom Technology Coach.
And this is Vartek Tuesday. So welcome back to Vartek Tuesday, the EdPuzzle 2.0 edition. Last week, we talked a little bit about how to use EdPuzzle, how to take someone else's content, someone else's video, and their question and answers, build it in, steal it for yourself, how to take somebody else's video, incorporate your own questions, and use it as you will, or how to create a brand new video and import all of your own content. This week, we're going to talk about how to take those great videos that you found and we're going to move them into Schoology. We're going to be able to assign that video to a student, and then we're going to be able to grade and watch their progress.
So first of all, we want to know, why should we opt in to integrating with your learning management system, in this case, Schoology? We have a few reasons here. First of all, this is going to be easy sign in for your students. They're not going to have to go to an outside website. And once they're signed in and connected to Schoology, it's a one and done type of thing. So they're going to have quick and easy access and quick and easy submission. Also, this limits the number of tabs that your students have open on their devices. The more tabs a student has open, the slower a device is going to run because it takes up more memory. And finally, teachers can review the submissions right there in Schoology and also assign and a grade. So there's less tabs open for the teacher as well.
So let's go ahead and integrate our EdPuzzle videos into Schoology. So first things first, we want to log into EdPuzzle. So you can see here, I've already got my EdPuzzle account logged in. I'm ready to roll. And now we want to make sure we're logged into Schoology. So for your convenience, you're going to pick your course. I'm just going to pick one of my courses here. It's going to go in. And then nice and handy for you, EdPuzzle already appears in the left side here. So we're going to pick EdPuzzle. And then if you haven't already, if this is your first time, you're going to need to sign into your EdPuzzle here using your Google account. So that'll be your Sydney City Schools account. Once you've got that done though, the first thing you want to do in description is define your course name. So if I'm teaching English 11, I'm going to probably type in English 11 here. If I'm also teaching English, let's say honors, an honors class, I'll go ahead and make a separate one for that so that they're different courses. So this one's English 11. So that's what I'm going to call it. And then I'm going to go ahead and look and find what I want. So I'm going to choose a grade level and a subject. You remember that from last week. In this case, I'm teaching 11th grade, so I'm doing that. I'm an English teacher. I'm going to do that. I'm going to create my class. There it is. My class is ready to roll. Now I am going to do that for every single course that I have. So if I'm teaching 4 preps, I'm going to do this 4 times. Now that you have EdPuzzle incorporated into Schoology, we want to go ahead and assign our first EdPuzzle lesson. So first things first, you're going to select your course. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and pick my sandbox course. And then just like you do other assignments, we're going to kind of follow along that same model. We're going to hit materials. And once that loads, you can either add materials or you can use the green plus sign. I'm going to hit add materials. And then you see EdPuzzle's already there. So I'm going to choose EdPuzzle. I'm going to give it a chance to load. Remember, I've already built these videos into EdPuzzle. I'm ready to use them. We did that last week. So this week, I'm going to pick the one that I want. And in this case, I'm going to go with the Crucible. It's going to load it. Once it's loaded, if I haven't made sure that all the content's right, I would preview it, right? But I know that this one's right and it's what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and assign it. And then it's going to give me a couple of options here. And I think that you want to make note of these. Prevent skipping, and then if you want closed caption on. I'm going to prevent skipping. I don't want kids to be able to skip through the video. I want them to watch all of the content, answer the questions accordingly. So I'm going to leave that on. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and leave closed caption off. And I'm going to assign. That's all there is to it. So now that you've assigned your EdPuzzle video, you want to go and see how your kids are doing. You want to monitor their progress. So you're going to go into your course itself. I'm already in. You're going to hit EdPuzzle. And it's going to take you into your list of assignments for your EdPuzzle videos in a moment. There we go. We just did the Crucible. So what you can do here is you can see that I have 3 students in my class and none of them have turned it in yet. So as that number progresses, you'll be able to get it. You can click on it and see your feedback.
So now we're going to look at some extras that come with EdPuzzle, including in the integration and in EdPuzzle itself. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the ability to go live with your students. Not all EdPuzzles have to be just out there for your students to do on their own. Let's say you want to use an EdPuzzle with your class, but you don't have a set of headphones and you do not want 25 to 30 kids listening to a video all at the same time. It could create a lot of noise. So instead, you can go live with your kids so they all can see the video and still be able to do the questions in Schoology. So from here, we're going to go to our course. And just like we have with a lot of things that have to do with EdPuzzle, we are going to go to that EdPuzzle section down on the left-hand side. Now, even though I already have my 3 students who are assigned this video, I can still go into the video. I'm going to click on the hamburger up here, and I'm going to click this button that says Go Live. This Go Live button allows me to show the video up here on my screen while the students answer the questions on their devices. So that way we have one source of sound, one source of video, and the students are still following along and answering questions. I can also use this time to hold discussions and answer questions that students have while we're watching the video. So the next thing is creating student projects. Now, we can't do this within Schoology, but we can do this within EdPuzzle. So back into my EdPuzzle account here, I'm going to add some content, and I'm going to create a student project. So we're going to fill in the project form here. So first, I want to give my students some sort of subject, a title for their project. So let's say I want them to create an EdPuzzle, because that's what they're doing with the student projects. I want them to create a video on cell structure. Okay. I'm going to have them have a goal for the project. So this could be a question that they're going to answer. This could be the guidelines as to what I want them to do. So I'm just going to put something random for right now. And here are where all our instructions go. So kind of like what we want them to do. So suggestions on what makes a good project. And then we're going to click Save Project at the bottom. Okay. So we're going to go back to My Content. So that's us here. We need to scroll down to Projects. So I need to shrink my little keyboard here. And I'm going to click on my project here to be able to assign it to my students. So it's going to show up over on Schoology side as well. I can also delete it if I want to, if I'm not happy with the way I set it up, or we can change it. But once we assign this, students are going to be able to use EdPuzzle much in the same way that the teachers do. They'll be able to find a video, add notes or questions, and be able to edit it in the same way that the teachers do and be able to submit it for an assignment. So for our last EdPuzzle Extra, we are going to take a look at another way to bring videos into EdPuzzle. Sometimes we can't find just what we want inside of EdPuzzle. We can go through My Content, we can go through all the popular channels, but we know we saw something when we were spending time on YouTube that we think would be perfect for our students. So there's an extension that helps us take those videos that we happen to see on YouTube and bring them directly into EdPuzzle. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go to the Chrome Web Store. So we're going to go up here and we're going to search in this store. We're going to search for EdPuzzle. So it is the very first one. We're going to add it to our Chrome. Make sure we click Add Extension. And EdPuzzle now has been added to Chrome. So from here, we don't have to do anything else with the extension. It is added, it's there, it's going to be ready for us to use as a tool. So now I'm going to go to YouTube. Now that we have the extension, we're going to go to YouTube and put that extension to use. So I know I want to find a video for my science class since we're studying cell cycles. So I'm going to type in the search bar mitosis. And I really like this video from the Amoeba sisters on mitosis. So we're going to click on that and we're going to go to the video itself. We're going to pause that so it's not so loud. And now we're going to scroll down a little bit so we can bring, there we go. So now this little button has been added. This was not there before. This is what the extension does. It adds this little button that allows us to take that video in particular and move it to EdPuzzle. So we're going to click on that button. And it's going to bring it over here to EdPuzzle for me. So I can now edit it, add questions, add notes, just like we've talked about in the previous video. Welcome to Tech Tip of the Day. We're going to continue on our journey through formative assessments, and this week's focus is going to be on a tool that we can add to Google Slides called Slido. Slido allows us to add in a lot of things that we see in other apps, such as word clouds, polls, Q&A sessions, and other such tools to help us get formative assessment and get that data from our students. So now we're going to walk through the process of adding the extension and using it within our Google Slides. So we're going to go to the Chrome Web Store here, and we're going to type into the search store Slido, just S-L-I-D-O. And it's normally going to be the first one that pops up, and we're going to add it to our Chrome. There we go. Now, the first time we use it, we're going to want to open up the extension and go into it. So we're going to find our extension. There it is. And we're going to log in. If you have never used Slido before, you're going to want to create an account. I already have an account. So I'm going to type in my email. Now that we've installed the extension into Google Slides, it's time to use it. Make sure you are signed into your account before we do this. So now we're going to have Slido available between our tools and our add-on buttons. So we're going to click on Slido, and it's going to pop up over here on the right-hand side. The first time you do this, it's going to have you sign in again, but you just need to scroll down to the bottom and click the button that says Log In, and it's going to be a single login. So here we have different options. And when we do this, this is going to create a brand new slide into our presentation. So let's say I want to have a word cloud. I want my students to do a word cloud. So I can type in a question here, and I can also add in an image. I also have the option to allow students to submit answers. So we're going to add a question. We can allow students to submit multiple answers if we want, and we're going to add this to the presentation. Okay, so now it has added this slide here that says Slido on here. We have the results that can show immediately. We have a few other options, and we can also add other interactions here. But for now, we're going to go back. We're going to present this with Slido so you can see what this looks like once we present it up on our screen. So it takes Slido a second, but it's going to connect to their server. And we have a couple things here that I want to point out. First of all, if your students have the ability to scan QR codes, you can up here in this corner. Otherwise, they can go to slido.com and use this number, so number 1289, to log in. It will give them a screen that allows them to turn in the answers. We're going to see those answers in real time pop up here. So you can see on the student side of things that as they're answering questions, they're seeing live feedback. We can see here on this student's device that there are 2 participants in here. They can also enter more words if they choose. So as words are entered, obviously the larger words are more often, being typed in, smaller words, a little less responses. And this is what it's going to look like to the students.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kat Childers.
And I'm Christine Jesse.
And this was Vartek Tuesday.